My dad sold my laptop to buy my brother a birthday gift. I found out when I got home from school. My desk was empty. At first, I thought someone had stolen it. I searched my room twice. Then I walked into the living room. My brother was opening a brand new dirt bike. Everyone was cheering. My dad was smiling. And suddenly, I noticed the envelope of cash sitting on the table. The same amount my laptop was worth. I looked at my dad. Where's my laptop? The room got quiet. He didn't even seem embarrassed. You weren't using it. I stared at him. I use it every day. He shrugged. Your brother's birthday is important. Important. Like mine wasn't. Like my future wasn't. That laptop wasn't for games. I had spent 2 years saving for it. I used it to learn coding, to apply for scholarships, to build a future nobody else seemed interested in helping me create. That night, I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just went back to my room and kept working. On my phone, on library computers, anywhere I could. Months passed. Nobody talked about the laptop again. Then one afternoon, a letter arrived. I opened it alone. I had been selected for a national technology scholarship. Full tuition, housing, everything paid for. The award ceremony was 2 states away, and students could bring 2 guests. When my parents found out, they were excited. Mom immediately asked, when do we leave? I looked at her, then at Dad. Then I said, we? Dad frowned. What do you mean? I took a breath. The people who believed in me are already going. They looked confused. My computer science teacher and my mentor. The room went silent. Dad stared at me. You don't want us there? I thought about the laptop, the birthdays, the forgotten achievements, the years of being second place. Then I answered honestly, I wanted you there years ago. Nobody said a word. A week later, I stood on that stage accepting my award. The loudest applause came from people who weren't family. And for the first time in my life, that didn't hurt. Because family isn't always the people who raise you. Sometimes it's the people who choose to believe in you when nobody else does. The day I turned 18, my parents changed the Wi-Fi password. Not for everyone, just for me. At first, I thought it was a glitch. Then I asked my dad, what's the new password? He looked at me and said, you don't need it. I laughed. Seriously? He wasn't joking. If you have time for the internet, you have time to get a job. That stung because I already had one. I worked evenings at a local grocery store. What they didn't know was I wasn't using Wi-Fi for games. Every night after work, I'd sit in my room, teaching myself graphic design, watching free tutorials, building a portfolio. Without Wi-Fi, everything stopped. So every evening, I'd walk to the public library. Even after it closed, I'd sit outside, using their free Wi-Fi from the parking lot, winter, rain. Didn't matter. 3 months later, I landed my first freelance client, then another. A year later, I was making more money than I ever expected. One night, Dad walked into my room. He saw a new laptop on my desk. Where'd you get that? I bought it. Doing what? The thing I needed Wi-Fi for. He didn't say anything, just looked around the room, then quietly asked, so, what's your password? I smiled. I'll text it to you. I never did. Not because I wanted revenge, because by then, I wasn't using his Wi-Fi anymore. So tell me, was my dad trying to teach me responsibility, or did he almost destroy my future?
What's something you believed as a kid that you later realized wasn't true? My mom used to say she wasn't tired. Not once. Not ever. Didn't matter if it was late at night, early morning, or somewhere in between. Like I asked, are you tired? She'd smile and say, no, I'm fine. And I believed her. Because that's what kids do. They believe the version of reality that feels safe. She worked 2 jobs, came home, cooked dinner, helped me with homework, cleaned up, and still found time to sit next to me before bed. Every night. No complaints, no breaks, just there. I thought she had more energy than everyone else. Like she was built different. I even remember telling a teacher once, my mom doesn't really get tired. She smiled at me. Now I understand why. I was 19 when I saw the truth. I came home late one night, lights were off, house was quiet. I walked into the living room, and there she was, asleep on the couch, still in her work clothes. Shoes halfway off, dinner dishes still in the sink. For the first time, she didn't make it to bed, and for the first time, I saw it. Not strength, not energy, just exhaustion she never let me see. Something shifted in me that night. All those years, she wasn't not tired, she just didn't let me feel it. I'm older now, life's heavier, days feel longer. And sometimes, people ask me the same question. Are you tired? I catch myself smiling and saying, no, I'm fine. And every time I do, I think of her. Because now I understand, she wasn't telling the truth. She was protecting mine. Every night at exactly 9:13, my dad knocked on my door and asked the same question. Still awake? For 17 years. Same knock, same voice, same pause. At 10, I'd answer. At 13, I'd say yeah without looking up. At 16, I stopped responding completely. Didn't matter. The knock still came. Still awake? One night, I finally snapped. Why do you keep asking that? You know I'm awake. He stood there for a second, then just nodded. Good. And walked away. No explanation, nothing. After that, I started locking my door. Didn't stop him. The knocks got softer, but they never stopped. Then one night, it didn't come. No knock, no question, just silence. And somehow, I couldn't sleep. 2 weeks later, he was diagnosed. Lung cancer. Fast. The kind where nobody says, you'll be fine. The night before the hospital, 9:13. A week knock. Still awake? For the first time in years, I said, yeah. He came in, sat beside me. We didn't talk much. Didn't need to. When he got up to leave, he paused. Good. But this time, I heard it. After he died, people said he was quiet. They were wrong. He spoke every night. I just stopped listening. Months later, I found a notebook. Dates. Hundreds of them. Every night, one line. Still awake, except the last page. It said, hope he is. Now I have a son, 2 weeks old. Last night, 9:13. I stood outside his door, hand raised, and for a second, I froze. Because now I finally understand. That question was never about sleep. It was, I'm here. I care. I don't know how long I get this. I knocked. Soft. Still awake? He didn't answer. Just breathing. Alive.
I found out my family had a group chat by accident. I was 18, home from college. We were eating dinner when my sister started laughing. Dad looked at his phone. Mom laughed too. Even my little brother smiled. I asked, what's so funny? Dad looked up. Oh, nothing. A few minutes later, my sister said, did you see what grandma sent? I pulled out my phone. Nothing. I checked every app. Still nothing. Then I asked, what group are you talking about? The table went quiet. Mom looked at Dad. Dad looked at my sister. Finally, Mom said, the family group chat. I laughed. What family group chat? Turns out, they'd had one for almost 2 years. Birthdays, holiday plans, family joke, pictures, even planning my cousin's surprise party. Everything. Without me. Dad quickly said, we thought you were already in it. Maybe. Maybe not. But nobody noticed for 2 years. Not one. That part hurt. Not the chat. The fact that nobody realized I wasn't there. Dad added me that night. The messages kept coming. Memes, photos, random updates. But honestly, I muted it the next morning. Because once you spend 2 years feeling left out, a notification doesn't fix it. A week later, Dad asked, why don't you ever reply? I looked at him. Then I smiled. I thought you wouldn't notice. He didn't say anything, so tell me, was I overreacting, or would that have hurt you too?